One trend that I think has been pretty obviously winning a lot of awards. How do I want to ask this question? Give me a second. I went to a rum event last night. It's
I went to the
taking
Solid
it.
Wiggles event last night. I ate a lot of Jello.
And yet
Jello.
you look so perky. Souther doesn't get hangovers. I don't know if you guys know this about him.
Never had a hangover in my life.
Well, a gift, a blessing and a curse, if you will, truly.
So you don't charm the devil with your rock and roll load. Knows that country music's gonna save your soul. The devil runs his groove in them rhythm and blues. That sound it's gonna get you son in the end.
Welcome back to the Speakeasy. I'm Souther Teague.
And I'm Greg Benson, and I want to chat about a little corner of the drinks industry that we don't really talk about too much here.
Yeah, you haven't given me too many hints here.
Well, it's because I wanted to get your reactions to this in real time.
Sure.
Souther, correct me if I'm wrong. You're not a soda guy, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Notoriously, for 26 years, I drink water and alcohol only.
Well, I'm gonna have a nice little sip of coffee before we finish this conversation. See, the thing you're missing out on is you miss out on fun mugs like this one from the Icelandic Phallological Museum.
Oh yeah, I've been there. It's a penis museum.
It is. It is the world's largest collection of phalluses. Just a little shout out to the tourism board in Reykjavik. You're welcome for that one. That one was free. But even if you're not a soda guy, you must have noticed.
Is it at least a little scary that it's just right next to the most famous hot dog stand in all of Reykjavik?
It feels fitting. It feels very fitting that they're it's kind of it's a past and future sort of a thing, It feels really Ouroboros, like the snake really kind of eating its own tail.
It's a little disturbing. Anyway, let's get to your thing. What do you got?
Okay, so have you noticed, even as a non-soda drinker, that the multiple soda things where you kind of take your cup and you push it against a lever and it specifically dispenses Diet Coke or root beer or Mountain Dew or whatever, that those things have kind of started to disappear in favor of these sort of rectangular 2001 A Space Odyssey-esque boxes with touchscreens in front of them. Have you observed these?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. They're called coca-cola freestyle machines. For the listener, if you're not familiar, that's the official name of the thing where all of your soda comes out of a single cloaca instead of having multiple different things to dispense. But
basically it's a big box that's replacing what we know as the behind the bar is the gun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I got real curious about these things because I just sort of noticed at one point, I was like, it seems like the takeover from the old school, just push a lever, get a soda machine to it's all coming off of a screen ordering system that we've talked about on the show multiple times. It seems like that transformation in the soda industry is nearing completion. Like these things seem like they've gone from a novelty to being pretty dominant. And I did a little research and a little reading to see if that was true. And some fascinating stuff about these machines. They are older than you might think. They were pioneered in 2007. So that is, I believe, 1 year after the first iPhone came out. So getting people to order things off of a screen was kind of a novelty that you sort of had to teach people back when they started developing this tech. But the other thing that I didn't really discover, sort of knew intuitively and just had confirmed, was if you've ever wondered ordering off of these things, I wonder if this machine is harvesting my data about my drink preferences and what I like when, and sending it back to some sort of central database that is collecting literally every data from every single one of these machines on the planet and building it into some sort of algorithmic mishmash that's going to let people market 0.5% more accurately to consumers. That's exactly what it's doing. It's 100% doing
sweet,
that.
Naive baby. Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah, of course.
It's registering your face. It knows who you are. It sees you coming.
Oh, and
it knows when you're coming.
Well, I don't know. Depends on what movie theater you're getting it at. But there's an app that you can use to pre-order your favorite things on there.
My assumption is it's following the app and it knows when you're close by.
Of course it does. I mean, these things are all interconnected, right? We've essentially, the nightmare that conservative talk radio hosts were trying to warn everybody about in the 90s about, like, the government's going to build a surveillance state that knows every single thing about you. No, we just built that ourselves. We actually paid for it. We carry our own tracking devices around with us now. It's really quite brilliant.
And we willingly hand the info over.
Exactly. There's something so intriguing about the mashup of the sinister surveillance state and like Coca-Cola that I find weirdly charming. And we're in luck because the good folks at Coca-Cola have not stopped innovating on these things. I also found a quote from a Coke executive that called the soda that was going out of these machines content. Didn't love that. But they're developing a new generation of machines. It's going to be launching later this year. That's going to have all sorts of new flavors. There is a specific attachment that you can buy if you really want to ride the lightning. That's going to have a bunch of even weirder options, including, I'm not making this up, dairy options, which feels a little bit less like a product and more like a game of chicken that a multinational corporation is playing with its consumers, to which I say, do it. Like, you want to get weird, Coca-Cola? Let's get fucking weird. Bring it on.
I mean, I don't drink sodas, but one of my favorite Instagrams to follow is called Roll for Soda. And it's this guy out in Utah who owns several soda shops, and he rolls dice to pick which base he's going to have, what add-ins, whatever. And many of them get a topping, and the topping is always a dairy. Sometimes it's iced cream, sometimes it's coconut milk, sometimes it's milk. Like, and I can see how that plays in. And he's usually pretty excited when he rolls one of those.
Well, yeah, I mean, like the root beer float is kind of a classic
I see what you're saying.
right?
To have it in the machine means to maybe try and play a little, gamble a little bit with freshness.
Yeah, and also I have to admit, like, my mind didn't immediately go to ice cream. My mind went to like Irish cream. Like, sure. I don't know, like you want to top this Coke off with some Baileys. You want to get real weird in the showing of Fast and Furious 11. Like, go nuts. But here's my major innovation that I think these should have. And this idea is free, Coca-Cola, if you're listening. I think
they're listening
that these machines should have cheat codes. I think that, you know, like if you're playing like one of those old N64 games,
up,
you
down,
press like
left, right,
yeah, exactly. A, B, Z, Z, R, left, right. And you could get like, you know, like infinite lives or whatever. Mm-hmm. I think that if you go up to one of these things and press just Diet Coke, Sprite, Peach Sprite, Fanta, Mountain Dew, you can unlock like weird fucked up flavors like Old Bay seasoning and turmeric and just like get real weird with it. Like Souther, again, no, you're not a soda guy, but if there is a Hen of the Woods Mr. Pibb option, you'd be a little curious. I think you'd be a little curious.
Listen, as long as one of the streams is like, I don't know, rum or whatever, I'm in.
That's the attachment they really need.
I'll have Coca-Cola if there's rum in it.
One last fun fact about these things, though, is that one of the original inventors of it was the inventor of the Segway. And speaking of Segways, we are going to segue to our guests right now. Thank you. Smooth. I was pretty proud of that one, too. Joining us in the studio, we have the owners of Kinda Nice and Shenanigans, which is a newly open spot and a soon-to-be newly open spot in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. We have Patty Dennison and Ally Marrone. Thank you so much for joining us, y'all.
Thanks for having us.
It's great to see you guys again, and I'm happy to say that I've been over to your bar and I made a little reel on my Instagram that got a little bit of traction, and I hope that it's working out kind of nice for you. I want to kick it off by asking, like, why did this project have to be the two of you? Of all the talented people that the both of you have worked with, why were Patty and Ally the right fit for Kinda Nice?
I mean, before we even met. So we worked at Blacktail together. That's where we met in like 2019. Mm-hmm. And
Blacktail, which was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, truly, when they talk about like bars that have closed that people want to reopen, I think it gets number one like 90% of the time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
With good reason.
Yeah, it was a great bar. But I interviewed, Ally had been there, was on the opening team, had moved up, is bartending now. And Will goes, there's someone who works here, Ally, and I think you guys are like really going to get along. And mine was like a weird, like, I had just finished this like wine program. I then was also like taking a month to travel before like actually having to become an adult. Yeah. And so it was this weird, like I interviewed, I got the job, and then I started like over a month later. And I feel like in bars and restaurants, that is not normal.
There's a lot of hype of the potential friendship building.
Yeah. And then I think when we met, we just kind of knew. We like complement each other really well. And it's something that like, I think before we had even chatted about it, we kind of knew that at some period of day we wanted to open a bar together.
Yeah.
I would be worried there would be a lot of pressure at that point, you know, of just kind of like, if you've been hearing about this person for months of like, you guys are going to get along so well. I would be, if I was in that situation, like as nervous as I would be on like a blind date or something.
I mean, we were just like, this sounds so silly because we're still young, but we're just like so young in life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just, I think, excited to just like build a new friendship, especially like we both went to culinary school, but at different times. So I think it was already kind of like a mutual understanding of like, I know you went through Fundies. How was that for you? You know, like a lot of like immediate things to already like bond over and chat about. So there's just like a lot of excitement to meet Pat.
Yeah. I mean, I also think that like all of the bartenders that worked at Blacktail were so lovely, but like I was really intimidated. Like I had never really had any front of house job, let alone a barbacking job. It was, you know, the Tails nominated best new bar. And so I think that like I was scared and I was like especially nervous to be the barback who was like behind the bar. And I think all of the bartenders there were really like welcoming and like helping me grow, but I think Ally was like exceptionally like, I understand, I relate to you. These are things that got me more comfortable and kind of took me under her wing instead of kind of the more like intense approach. And I think having both of those approaches from different people mixed together was like ideal for me. But Ally was a very like safe space, like easy person to immediately like work with and learn from.
That's lovely. And that it brings me to a question that I really want to ask. In this working friendship and now business partnership that the two of you have, what do you bring that the other knew they couldn't do alone? And I'm also curious about this. I know we have these roles pretty well hammered out on the speakeasy, but who among you is the optimist and who is the catastrophizer?
Oh, I don't know. I mean,
I think it beautifully
day-to-day
puzzles
specific
together. Totally. Right, because I don't know. I think Patty has such a beautiful brain of just seeing such long game, and I'm like, today's gonna be beautiful. We're gonna, you know what I mean? I think it just helps.
You're a little more in the moment. I'm a little more like, what are we doing a year from now? Like, wait, this isn't like a today. This is a we signed a 10-year lease kind of vibe. I think that, and I think we also just have different strengths. Like I'm a little bit, Allie's like the most empathetic, kind human, you know? I'm a little more like direct. Not in like a, I'm trying to say this in a way that like is not working, but
Be free.
I also think we just like have other traits in addition to like literally bartending, run a business. Like I really enjoy using Excel. Like it makes me happy when I can do that, which makes me feel like a psychopath. And then Ally like, right. Like Ally likes like building like the Google Drive, which I don't even know how to do that. And so I think like there's things like that we're really good when making cocktails. Yeah. I like to do the R&D, like the like technical like syrups and clarification and whatever the fuck it may be. And then Allie's like palette on getting something balanced is like exceptionally unreal. So I think we just have, it's a good like ba-ba-ba kind of vibe.
A lot of bouncing around.
I love it. Well, let's talk about the bar, right? What is Kinda Nice? And like more specifically, like if you could drill down on it, if a guest were to come and to spend 3 hours at the bar and walk out and say one sentence, what would you like to hear that sentence be?
Oh, it wasn't Kinda Nice. It's kind of the best.
Yeah, sure.
And people have said that to me.
We actually just had a bartender come in and she said that it was one of the most like, she felt really safe in the space, which I thought was like a really unique and very cool compliment that I was like, whoa, I am imagining there's like a multitude of things that go into that because it's like literally what it looks like, the people working, everything that goes, the people coming in as guests. Yeah. But that was like I've never received that compliment. And I was like, whoa, that's really cool.
Well, right. Cause I think it's such a vibe of like I always judge a place when I know I can go somewhere alone and like feel comfortable and just welcome. And I think that's the beauty of being like, making this a very cozy neighborhood vibe is like, you can come here solo, chill, read a book. We don't care. Have a Jenny Cream, slay. Or you can come in with a big group and have a rager. It's a little bit of something for everybody. So I think getting that across has been really cool to see people take.
And I guess at the end of the day, it's like cocktail bar diners, like the overarching goal. It's like two things we really loved and kind of like melding them together in a way that I always feel really comfortable in a diner. And we kind of like did that happy medium that made sense for us.
Yeah, and I love that the name of the place is really kind of like defining the notion of under promise, over deliver.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
You're like, well, this place is definitely going to be kind of nice. And then you go in there and it's better than that, as you said.
Yeah.
And so you've just by setting that tone upon walking in the door, like that's created.
You know, this is a space that's open now, and I want to talk a little bit about the build out. I actually don't know this going in, so I don't know what state it was in when you got the keys. So was it just a totally empty shell? Were there some aspects of it that you were kind of like that were baked in that you were working around? And specifically, I'm wondering, what was one hill you were willing to die on as you were building this out, and what's one thing that you just totally surrendered on?
LOL.
I guess.
What a good question.
Yeah.
Honestly.
First question. It was like an operating restaurant. It was a club for 10 years. The downstairs club part had closed like 3 years prior. So boy, did it not look like the photos that we had seen online when we initially were like going to look at the downstairs. They like built in shelves and stuff for storage and other things. But then upstairs, until I think we signed the lease December 15th, it closed in like mid-October. So it had been like not open for like a couple months. The fridge was on, but it was for sure full of food still. So there were things like that. And I think it was also just like, it was, you know, it looked really good, and people are correct. When you start doing stuff, boy, do you find a bunch of issues. But I think it was the sheer just having to go through like people's shoes, you know, like we found like the cases for DJ decks like drywalled above the walk-in.
So strange.
And so it was just like a weird, you're just like in somebody else's home and like figuring out what you want, what you don't want, what like you should maybe reach out to the prior owner to see if they want. And so it was a very, it was cool and weird and like uncomfortable, because it felt like we were in someone else's space for like kind of a long time.
Did you encounter any objects that you were like, this is for sure haunted?
Well, should we share about the staircase under there?
Oh yeah. Well, we didn't.
I think now you have to.
We didn't even know about this until like a month ago. There's like a little like square in the plywood. Like you would think nothing of it. Update, it's an access panel situation. But there's like a whole like 6 foot by 8 foot section under the stairs.
Patty's very tall boyfriend, Dylan, who's been incredibly helpful in this process, like went in there to like organize, and he fit. He's a very tall man.
Yeah, I mean it.
Right.
But it's like one of the contractors was just like putting stuff in there during construction. So like we kept like the little pegboard menu for downstairs, and we're like, yo, I cannot find this thing anywhere. And it's in, and then I'm like, yo, Allie, Ulysses just showed me this thing. And then I'm like, oh, there's the menu that we haven't been able to find for the past week.
This whole time.
But yeah, that was weird. Yeah, there was like a lot of just like loose nails and spiders, so I wasn't gonna get in it. But that was weird. And then I guess hills to die on.
I mean, I guess hills to die were just like things that like we knew we like wanted to try to not change, but then we had to, like the back bar. Like, do you know what I mean? I feel like that makes sense. We were gonna try to keep the back bar at first, but we're like, yo, I don't know how to make this look cool. I just don't know. So that was something we just like, I think that became like a big focus of having to change that.
I mean, I think also like we probably spent the most money on like equipment behind the bar, because it was like
so important.
I think I've worked at a lot of places that a bartender is obviously not designed behind the bar, and it's like if we're gonna spend money on something, it's, you know, like half the goal is trying to get drinks out as quickly as possible, and if you have a bad setup, it makes that initial thing really challenging. So we didn't like skimp on that. We did keep the bar top here and refinish it, so it's extremely narrow behind the bar, which is a bummer, but we wanted to make it like nice and efficient, and that was something where it was like it was we just like are gonna get good equipment, and it is gonna be expensive, but at the end of the day, it's
hopefully this lasts our 10-year lease and so on.
Right.
Right. Well, I want to sort of unleash a little bit of a reveal. The space is kind of nice, but then you have downstairs soon to be open called Shenanigans, and the high concept, low concept thing is kind of out there, and we all know it and see it. But yours is almost backwards, right? You're going to walk into the higher concept and then walk down into you have to go into the nicer place to get to the divier place. I don't want to, knock one over the other. Tell us about Shenanigans and why you decided to flip the script in that way, that you walk into the nicer room before you get to the divier room.
I mean, I think we talked a lot about this. Like, we looked at so many properties, so many things that had different things going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at the end of the day, like, the concept of what Shenanigans is changed a lot, and it was a lot of different iterations. And at one period of time, it was like, we both worked at Grand Army for 3.5 years and 5 years respectively. So having like a, hyper seasonal, hyper themed venue is something that we were both like, it was really fun. The amount of like times you do a theme, and then by the end, it's like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
So there was an iteration where we were doing that. And then we talked for a while and we did a bunch of things, but it was like, what do we like want to do? And at the end of it, it was like, we like going to divey bars. And now, and I know Sutler, we talked about a little bit about this in person, dancing is fun. And so we wanted to do something fun that's like hidden, and is specifically with this space. It's like you're in the coolest basement of like your best friend's mom. It's a cool, weird, it gives basement dive. And I think Kinda Nice is the thing that like we like have been working on this concept for a really long time. And then like having the like, contained upstairs party downstairs just like made sense. And like we wanted something, it's like medium brow and then low brow. We didn't really want to do the high brow, which is not like, it's not who we are as people, really. Truly.
Mm-hmm.
If you're hearing the sound of my voice right now, I've got some bad news for you. You are only getting about 60 to 70% of the conversation that we had today with our guest. But if you want to hear the whole thing, you can join us and become a regular on our Patreon.
That's right. To hear the rest of the conversation, join us on our Patreon, become one of our regulars, and you'll receive all kinds of perks, including ad-free listening, so you won't have to hear us do this again.
And in addition to ad-free listening and longer shows, you are also going to get cocktail recipes from all of our guests, access to our live monthly hangouts, and a free cocktail kit each and every month from our good friends at Shaker and Spoon.
So head over to Patreon and become a regular of the Speakeasy. We'd love to have you there. Cheers.
So one trend that's noticeably been sweeping through our industry over the last few years and getting a lot of press and winning a lot of awards is this kind of double-sided coin, where you have one space that has the front room and the back room, or the upstairs and the downstairs, or the main floor and the basement, where you have two concepts that are united by a theme, but are built to be very distinct spaces in their own right. So I wanted to talk to the two of you, since you're in the process since you have opened one and are about to open another one. What do you think is so magnetic about this trend? I think I know why bartenders like it so much, although I'd want to hear your take, but what do you feel about this is resonating with the public too?
Whoa. I mean, I think people just get so excited about being able to have such different experiences in one space. Everybody's just like, we're so busy all the time. So I think sometimes not have to do the runaround to seek different things for your night out is really special. Like, I think what we're so excited about, like yesterday we had our first buyout, right? And it was such a beautiful time. And like they went out dancing after, and I was like, fuck, I can't wait till they just go downstairs and dance. Because like that's what they're looking for, and we have it here, and soon it's going to be ready. Like what a beautiful concept that you can kind of have it all in a way. Try to.
I think that is one of the things here specifically. It's like your night out is one. It's a one-stop shop in a really positive way. You can sit down up here, have a cocktail, have some food, and then you can have a different vibe downstairs and dance the night away and have some beers and shots and have a good time.
Come back up for more snacks.
Right, literally. I think for us, like having the dual concept is kind of twofold. Like we fundraise all of the money ourselves. We don't have like a big investor or anything like that. And just like transparently on like running a successful business, we're not going to open downstairs 7 days a week. It really makes more sense right now as like a Friday, Saturday, maybe Thursday, Friday, Saturday concept. And then we can do events down there. We don't close Kinda Nice. The overarching goal is to not close Kinda Nice. We did yesterday because downstairs wasn't done in time.
Had to celebrate bar.
Right. And we had the most beautiful 50th birthday party ever. But I think that from a business perspective, that was kind of like number one reasoning. But then too, I think it's also like you have kind of something for everyone. Not everybody wants to be in a swanky cocktail bar. Not everyone wants to be in a dancy dive bar. So like you can come here and like you can do either or.
Yeah.
But it's like with a lot of those highbrow, lowbrows, like, you know, not everyone's looking for the back room at Double Chicken, but the front room might be more their vibe.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of like there might be two different demographics of people we can still nail down in one space.
I love it. And frankly, that kind of drives me towards my next question, which was going to be, you know, let's talk about how you've made this whole thing a reality in general. What do you think has been more difficult? And I think I know the answer, but I want to ask you, creating the drinks, creating the culture, or creating the payroll?
Yeah, so the drinks, like, transparently, we had conceptualized some of them in our pitch deck years ago. And then besides that, we, like, hadn't made them until, like, what, a month before we opened, like, quickly at Grand Army. That's the thing we knew how to do, right? Like, we knew how to do that.
Yeah.
And then I think that, like, as far as culture goes, that's another thing that, like, I think Allie and I are fortunate again that we're complementary people, and I think our thing is always like we at least try our best to be nice. Like I will give you constructive criticism, but like I'm not gonna like scream at you. And we're understanding, empathetic people, and I think that's something right now with that people are noticing. We have an incredible staff. And like, it's been the easiest part of this entire process.
Yeah.
They make it so easy for us to be doing this psychotic thing that we're doing right now.
Yeah.
And I think that's something we kind of like understood our management styles and like understood like the culture we wanted here of like, we're owners. We are going to tell you no sometimes to do things, but we also like want to try and say yes and want to make you feel seen and happy and heard as much as we can. So I think that also not super challenging.
Yeah, totally.
Asking every single person we've ever met for money was like not super fun. I
It's a
think
good exercise.
yeah, and you know, after you do it 5 to 10 times, it gets easier.
Having another person with you to do it also is incredible.
Yes, but I think that it's hard, right? We had a lot of people that were like, when you guys want to open a bar, you just let us know and we got you.
Give me the call.
And we reached out to all those people, and you know what? They did not got you.
Yeah.
Like it was
Hey, money's hard. We get it.
right. I'm opening another bar. I'm doing those spirits thing. I'm doing whatever. My friends only invest in AI now, like whatever it may be. But it was like we kind of thought, and this is the first time we're doing this. Maybe it was naive of us that we had 5 to 10 people kind of locked in. And then once we were like, yoo-hoo, we're here.
She's signing the lease.
we did it. And we were obviously able to make it happen, but it was not, we got some of our last investors like 2 weeks before we opened, or a week after we opened. It's like, we have enough money right now, but we're not going to have enough money soon. And we know that like we need the fundraising goal that we set, we do need to meet that. And we're like getting really close, but like
but we have to get there.
Yeah, but we have to get there, and this is a little scary, but that was by far and away the most hardest part of the process.
Yeah.
So I want to ask about what surprised you about this whole process, but based on what you just said, I want to kind of add a twist on that question, which is, was planning the financials for this something that you kind of had to learn from the ground up? I mean, one thing about this industry is that the more you advance in it, the more skills you sort of have to learn on the fly. You know, you become a manager and suddenly you have to learn, you be like, okay, well, now you're an amateur electrician if anything goes wrong. And it sounds like when you level up to bar owner, it's like, okay, well, time to kind of get an MBA on the fly here. Like, what was that learning curve like? And was there anything about it that was particularly unexpected?
I mean, I think it was threefold. I think with a lot of things at the beginning of the process, Ian Griffiths of Bar Snack was like super helpful and like really guided us and gave us a lot of kind of those core things to help us out with. Because I think we just like, you say you want to open a bar. How does one do that?
Yeah. We needed that push to be like, you can do this. You just have to actually start putting yourself out there and do it.
So I think that was really helpful. I think we're also really lucky because Julian, one of the owner operators of Grand Army, is his reaction to me and Allie being like, hey, at some period of time, the two people that run this program are going to quit at roughly the same time and go open a bar. And he was like, oh my goodness, I am so proud of you. How can I help you?
Yeah, good egg.
And also, like, we did it in a Allie left first, and like we got a new GM sorted, and then I left after, and I trained up a new head bartender, and we didn't take the entire staff. So we also like did it in like a kind way. But I think that like he was super helpful, and we can just like like I mean, I texted Julian a question yesterday, and I think that like having those things close by. Also, my mom is a CPA and my dad is a lawyer, and that's been Allie's family's construction.
Wow.
Yeah, that was cool.
Meditation queen.
Yeah, Allie's mom
Also
is like
useful, I'm sure.
Aligning my chakras. It's good.
So we were selfishly lucky just because all of our parents were just like, if there's like I was like having issues with the financial model that we ended up doing at the end of the day, and like I was on the phone with my mom for like 4 hours figuring it out, and like. Also, like, we have really supportive parents that were willing and able to do that for us and not be like, yeah, good luck.
Right.
Very, very lucky.
But yeah, no, it's you kind of, I mean, I think dealing with like the different like New York departments of whatever, that was like, there's no method to this madness and no one seemingly can help us. We're asking every bar owner.
Truly.
But besides that, yeah, I was like, I really need to put this business degree I hypothetically have to use, and I need to like really use it really hard right now.
Yeah.
And I haven't a ton yet in my life.
Hey, it worked. It's good.
It worked
so
out.
far.
Yeah.
And it's an ongoing process too, because as we've discussed, Kinda Nice is open and Shenanigans is not. So what's it like opening another bar underneath of a bar that you just opened?
It's so funny because it's like we're just like printing all the necessary signage and like Pat's like getting the back bar ready. And it's so funny how like this all just felt so big, and downstairs now we're just kind of like, okay,
No
obviously
problem.
still a thing, but it's just like, I think, and that's the epitome of Shenanigans. It's just like good vibes, easy going. So it just feels more natural now that we have this under our belt. You know what I mean? Just like, the boxes are more apparent to check off.
Also,
that makes sense.
Not having contractors in the space every day, like what was happening for the first 2 weeks, which was just
so much
like,
dust.
we're having to like deep clean every day. And also like,
The worst.
you're just getting pulled in different directions.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, Allie and I would be like, there's like 1 hour of computer work that's taken me 6 hours.
Yes, because it's just like, go here. Go
So
here.
I think at the beginning it was tough. I think now that we're in the finishing stretch and it's just like, we're waiting on like one thing and we have been for like 2 weeks. And once that's sorted, we'll be good. But seemingly just getting open was a lot more. And like downstairs now feels like, oh my God, this is no problem. Also, like we don't have any of like the stupid backhand bullshit that we had to do prior that was like so intense and annoying.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I feel like it's the way people talk about when they have kids. Like their second kid, obviously, you're still like ready, all the new things.
Yeah.
But you're just kind of like, I have done this. It's going to be okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Self-assurance, you know.
Sure, I absolutely empathize with that one, right? You know, having multiple kids of my own, I guess. In that regard, anyway, it gets easier, but it also strangely gets harder. I don't know. It's hard to really shake it out. Well, talk to us a little bit about the menu, and let's pluralize that. The menus. You know, you've said out there that you want nothing but bangers, but you're also striving to just be quote kinda nice. So how do you square that circle? And then also, what's going to be the difference between Kinda Nice and Shenanigans menu-wise, both food and drink, if you can?
Excellent question.
Yeah, I mean, I think something we really did learn at Grand Army too is like the highbrow, lowbrow. The like, we can do really dope things behind the scenes, and our menu can read so chill.
Yes.
And I think that's something that we're like really trying to do here, in that kind of like making everything approachable. I think a lot of kind of cocktail bars have become like intimidating, and like you're seeing things you don't understand. You don't really feel comfortable asking questions.
Yeah, I don't want to learn a lesson. I just want to have a really cool bev.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of what we like tried to do upstairs. Of like, we're doing some cool techniques and stuff on the back end of it.
Yeah.
Our menu isn't throwing that at you in a really positive way.
Yeah.
And like, especially with our opening menu, we're trying to find kind of those core 3 to 4 mainstays and then seasonally change the rest of the menu. But I think it's again, it's like we're using like we have Hypnotic on the back bar, you know, we have the like fun things there, but then we're using like Matchbook is making a lot of products custom for us, and that's really cool. So it's like we're doing that happy medium and giving it to consumers in a really approachable way. Downstairs is like and this was always the kind of drink school, right?
Yeah.
Beers and shots, probably our together most combined cocktail, we'll say. And then we are having 3 draft carbonated, jazzed up 1-in-1s.
Easy breezy, beautiful.
So, you know, we're doing, and we're like, what do people drink when they're like in like a dive or like now in like a dancey dive or like tequila sodas, vodka sodas, whiskey ginger, whatever.
Yeah, what's that party drink?
And we're going to label it, you know, like we're going to add a couple things here and there, and it's going to be like one of the drinks we're working on is tequila, a little bit of Saint Germain, a cucumber distillate, acid cordial, water. You know, it tastes great. You can drink like 10 of them and you can have a good time. And so downstairs is about easy, efficient, and like looking at the culture of a dive bar or a dancey. What are people drinking? This is what they're drinking. We're going to make a really good version of that and hope that's what people are mostly ordering.
Yeah.
I love it. I think your challenge is probably going to be, you know, because I have multiple places that are in the same building, although the consumer can't move from room to room. But the challenge is going to be trying to make sure that not only your staff, but it's not only your customers, but your staff get the concept. And I guess what I'm trying to get to is like, you're probably not going to want to be serving the same things up and down.
Totally.
Hey, I was just upstairs and I had this, but now I'm down here and I like the vibe, but I want that. Can I get that? You know, or vice versa.
That's something.
And I think that's something we've chatted about. It's like, right, sometimes there's things that we would maybe say no to that would just like then make our lives a nightmare. And it's like, I think there's things like we're probably going to make it a shared tip pool for up and down. And then, and these are things we haven't even fully sorted out. And we don't know yet. But, you know, if someone has a Greek salad martini up here and they want to take it downstairs,
Party on,
pop
girl.
off.
Yeah.
But you can't order one downstairs.
Yeah.
But it's like, I think it's going to take time, and it's going to take time being open to see what makes sense.
Totally.
And I think there's going to be trial and error, and there's definitely going to be some error. And we're going to kind of go from there and see.
That's going to be my next concept, trial and error.
Trial upstairs, error downstairs.
Error downstairs.
Well, this brings up something that I was really curious to ask the two of you, because, you know, change is inevitable. Nothing in this world is permanent. And so obviously, as you've mentioned, you know, the boundaries between Kinda Nice and Shenanigans, are going to evolve based on what the guest is demanding, what's realistic, what you want to do with the space. But what are some lines you have in mind that you're like, this is going to keep these two places distinct in perpetuity? This is one thing that we're never going to do upstairs that we will always do downstairs, and vice versa.
I mean, I guess downstairs, like, right, there's not going to be any food. I don't know if that's something like, just to keep it very just like drinks, dancing, casual.
Yeah.
I think that would get tricky.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's a challenging question. I mean, I think they're just like, they're two pretty visually and vibe distinctly separate spaces in a way that I think is like enough. And I think it's like someone's like back to the other question. Like, I don't think someone's going to want the drinks up here down there, because it's a different energy.
Can't dance.
It's the energy up here is different than the energy downstairs. I don't know. I think as far as like, we just like want the menus to make sense for both concepts and things like that. But like, I think we're trying to like, at least at this point, not do any firm ups because we're in a place now that we're trying to learn and grow and see what makes sense. We've never opened a bar before. We know kind of what we're doing. But like being flexible enough and then being like, oh, this does not work.
Yeah.
This cannot happen.
Yeah.
And then learning and growing and then seeing what makes sense.
Yeah. Because I think too, like, I think one of the best lessons that I think we've both learned from many other people is like, listen to what the neighborhood is telling you that they want.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm just like, I'll go fuck myself. Maybe there is food at some point downstairs.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know.
But
Like,
hopefully not.
you know, I'm scared for that dance floor if there is.
Yeah.
But nobody wants to slip on a tomato from a burger. But
Yeah.
anyway, you know, flexibility is definitely the name of the game.
And speaking of that, then that leads me towards, you know, your successes. What do you think success looks like for you in 5 years? Do you intend to like chase after awards or expansion? You want to become a neighborhood institution, something else entirely? Like, what does success look like? If we had this podcast again in 5 years, what would we be talking about?
It's so beautiful. I think neighborhood success.
Yeah.
For sure. We want to be the corner spot, the staple.
Yeah, we want to do the thing that Grand Army has done successfully for 12 years. I
Yeah.
think doing that, being like a really good tried and true kind of neighborhood corner spot, and like having people who can come in, know what they want, and be really excited every time they get it. Look, selfishly, Allie and I talked about awards the other day. Getting an award for best bar team would be the award that we would want to get, because we
Yeah.
think that we have such a beautiful group of people that work here, and we want them to be celebrated.
Extremely lucky.
And I think that's what would be a really cool thing.
Yeah.
I think we're not going to change anything about what we do to try and like make something like that happen. And really at the end of the day, we're trying to run a successful business. So like if we can be doing that in 5 years, if we can have a bunch of, you know, like neighborhood regulars, our investors ideally should be paid back then. We're doing it.
That's what we
We've
want.
done it.
Yeah. I mean, that's great. I think, just get in, roll your sleeves up and do the work, right? Break rocks and carry water.
So when you're not in the bar, and Allie, I know that this is the rest of your day off, before you go and get some cat time, are you stopping in for a drink anywhere? Where are you all drinking these days in Williamsburg? What's some of your favorite hangouts?
I mean, I do love going to the West. They served as a beautiful purpose. They do coffee during the day, bar at night. Yeah. We went there every day, multiple times a day during the construction process. But being able to go now in the evening and have a beer is always nice. But I'm actually going to try to go to Wayne and Sons tonight for the first time. Thanks. Very excited.
Yeah, I think for like, I'll do twofold. One, we go to H&H Reserve a ton at the
Yes.
end of our shift. It's a great bar.
That
They
big Kieran
have-
for like $6. Come on.
Yeah, it's like free. It's 32 ounces. They give you beer there.
Yeah.
We love it there. It's a good vibe. You can get a solid cocktail. You can get a beer. It's great.
Yeah.
I think as far as like other spots, like during this process, Nick, who owns Mr. Mello, has been so helpful. By proxy, I've been going to Mr. Mello more, and it's a really good vibe. And I think it's like, it's cool because I would never open a bar like that, but it's like very him in a way that this is very us. And I think it's really cool to like go to a listening bar, have a different experience, have a cocktail, and have a good time. And I think that's a place I've frequented more and really enjoyed going there more often.
I kind of want to ask a follow-up there, because you've touched on a bar that I think is really unique, the West. I used to go there a lot when I lived in Bushwick, and I have always been struck by the fact that so many places try to be a coffee shop during the day and a bar at night, and so many of them
Failures.
fail.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that seems like it makes such logical sense, but is so much harder to pull off in reality. What do you think it is about the West that actually makes it a durable spot? It's been there for over a decade at this point. What do you think the secret to its success is?
I think, honestly, I think that it's only counter service makes a big difference. I know that sounds silly, but there's something about that. It's just so casual. I think it's like the aesthetic. The West is very much still like gives dive to me. You know what I mean? But like, I just love that there's just like so many different places to sit. I love that they have a backyard that you can go in. I mean, we went one night, it was
Late.
like 1 a.m. and I was like, oh, just so nice to have a bev outside.
Yeah, they
Nicer
also,
than everybody.
and I don't think we've ever like participated in any of this. They do a lot of like programming. Like they do
Yeah.
like D&D one night. They show movies there. They do like, I don't know, bingo or something like that.
Sports.
So I think like having something like that people could be like, oh, I live close by and I can
Yeah.
like do this fun thing. I think based on the aesthetic and the vibe, like makes a lot of sense. And I
Totally.
don't think a lot of, you know, it's divey. I don't think there's a lot of other divey spots in the area doing anything like that.
Yeah.
So it kind of sets them apart.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just nice that it's not too fancy, but I can get a coffee
Yeah.
and be offered a shot at 2 in the afternoon. And I'm like, not today.
Double shot of espresso takes on a whole new meaning.
Like,
Literally.
yeah. LOL. So,
Well, Patty, Ally, thank you so much for coming on the show. This has been delightful. We appreciate you taking some time during what sounds like a busy day. You offered Kit to flip the camera around and let us see what else is going on. Can we get a little sneak preview of what else is happening?
So Sweet Michael is here. They're doing some filming for YMCA.
Hi.
Francisco's there.
Hey, buddy.
I was here, and then we just got the kegerator was just delivered. It's Greg was just delivered for downstairs.
Amazing.
So when you were here, the mailman was trying to hand me mail because there's been multiple LLCs here, so we get a lot of different mail, and then the kegerator was also getting delivered at the same time, and yeah, so it was a funny. Yeah, we'll figure that out. It'll be a fun thing.
Every day is an adventure.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, guys, it's been a real pleasure having you both on. Where can our listener follow along with your shenanigans, literally and figuratively?
I mean, our Instagram handle is Kinda Nice BK. And I think that'll have all of the things happening. Shenanigans should be opening up mid-July. So we'll have like a fun little party place to go to after you have a couple bevs at Kinda Nice coming very soon on Friday and Saturdays. So those are the updates.
Yeah, that's the crack.
Amazing. Well, again, I really appreciate you giving us so much of your time and letting us see a little bit behind the curtains of what's going on at Kinda Nice. And I'll definitely be back. It's not that far for me. It's about a 25-minute walk from my house. I walk everywhere, so I can get there pretty easily. So maybe Greg and I'll come down for a drink.
Yeah, slightly longer than 25 minutes from my place, but I'll definitely come in. I'm really excited to check it out. This has been awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the show. But that is going to do it for us this week. However, if you want to freestyle on more of our show, you can become a regular on our Patreon. Our regulars get ad-free shows. They get longer shows, cocktail recipes from all of our guests, including a really cool Greek salad-inspired martini from Ally and Patty, and a curated monthly selection of seasonal bitters from Bitter Queens down in Nolens. I actually got to meet Greg, who runs the company at BCB, and I can report that he is a lovely, lovely man. So if you want to support his work and this show, swing on by and become a regular. And when you do that, you will also get access to our monthly after hours live hangouts, which is good because the next one is coming up. It's this Monday, June 29th. Souther and I are going to get together in the same room for a kind of AMA, kind of live stream, kind of drink along session. It's always a blast. So if you want to join, sign up and become a regular today. Also, After Dark Confessions is coming back. We are going to be at Pine Box Rock Shop July 1st. That's the first Wednesday of the month. At 8:30 p.m. Would love to see you there. If you got something to get off your chest, if your soul is weighing you down, come on out, confess it. It's going to be a lot of fun. And now it is time for our weekly sauced update. What is happening over there, Souther?
Well, the next episode that drops will be, the most recent episode is yesterday's, which is Steak à Poivre, where we talk all about one of my favorite things, pepper. I love pepper. I didn't really realize it until we were digging into the show, but I have 5 different pepper mills at my house, and I have to take pepper out of some of them to put different peppers in when I want different peppers. I need more pepper mills. So Steak à Poivre was a great episode for us to do. Next bonus episode for all of our subscribers is going to be all about focaccia. We're going to talk about how to make a focaccia customized to your tastes and use it in different ways. So we're having tons of fun over there. And then, of course, our July 4th episode is going to be all about hamburgers.
Hell yeah.
I think the truest example of the American contribution to the culinary landscape is the hamburger, and we dive pretty freaking deep.
Did you eat one of your quarterly hamburgers while you were doing this show?
I did not.
Oh, okay, good. Keep it in reserve for the 4th.
I will. Yeah, we're gonna. So the whole episode was about doing it on the grill. So we're gonna grill out and do hamburgers. So I will have one of my 4-a-year hamburgers.
Do you ever get tempted to like have a hamburger on the grill and then eat another one and just kind of like, just blow half of your stack for the entire year in one go?
I could. I've never done it. In fact, I think this. Like most years go by and I don't even achieve all 4. Because I will say to myself, I'm going to go to X place and I'm going to go there specifically to have their burger. And when I get there, everything on the menu looks better than the burger and I don't get the burger. But it's driven me to go to a bunch of different places and have a bunch of different foods. And don't forget, I never repeat. So once I do have the burger wherever I go, I'm not going back there for that. Right.
Dang.
It's crazy.
It is, because there are weeks in my life where I eat 4 hamburgers. So good on you for this restraint. Either way, be sure to check that out. I'm excited for this bonus episode. I'm excited to learn about the hamburger, and check out this same podcast that you're listening to next week when our guest is going to be Peter Barsoom from 1906 Cannabis. That is right. We're diving back into the world of THC beverages to hear what's been happening there. It's kind of the wild west of the drinks world, so tune in for that. But for now, cheers, everybody.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
So you don't charm the devil with your rock and roll, Lord knows that country music's gonna save your soul. The